Welcome to the Cop Shop with FPD. I'm Georgette Allen. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Farmington Police Department, and my co-host is on vacate this week, so I am here with my guest, Officer Derek Booker, School Resource Officer and newly appointed PIO for Bloomfield Police Department. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me, Georgette. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so glad you can be here. So you guys have a lot of community stuff coming up, and you guys are kind of ramping up your community outreach and stuff that you're doing. I've been following you guys' Facebook page. It's pretty cool. The gal that's behind that mostly, she's doing a good job.
Suzanne Moore, she's incredible to work with. We've got a great team overall over in Bloomfield, and she's doing a great job on all our social media, managing that and keeping everybody up to date about what exactly Bloomfield is doing. So we're very, very happy with what we're doing in the community right now, and it's going to be a very, very busy month of October. Oh, cool. Yeah, us too. So we'll have to talk about all the events, but give us a little bit of background about yourself, because you've been an officer for a long time now, and you came from as a lateral from elsewhere. Right. So I've been a police officer for 10 years. About half of that I've spent as a school resource officer. So it'll be almost 11 years coming up, and obviously I came from out of state down to Farmington, worked in Farmington for 6 years, and then Bloomfield Resource Officer, and they reached out to me and gave me an opportunity to come contribute to the community that I've lived in for going on 4 years now.
Because this is being a school resource officer, because you did that at FPD as well. That's kind of your passion. That's where you loved working with the students and the kids. And
I really do love working with the kids. You know, unfortunately in our line of work we see a lot of negativity and things like that on the adult side of things most of the time, or I won't say most of the time, but a fair amount of the time the people that we contact as adults are not the people that the average person on the street wants to run into. Sure. Whereas with the kids, there's a lot more opportunity for positivity and change ultimately. You know, a 13 or a 14-year-old kid can be influenced a lot easier and try and get them on a better path, even just after a rough day.
So as a school resource officer, I think everybody kind of has a different idea of exactly what it is that you do in the school as an SRO.
I get that question all the time. Mm-hmm. So what, you know, they say, oh, you're a school resource officer. Is that like security? Well, it is at least one facet of it. You know, we generally model ourselves on association's model, which is threefold. Whereas at first and foremost, you're a law enforcement officer. So anything that happens on campus that could be considered a criminal violation, it's something that you're going to have to address. Second, you're always a teacher, because there's a lot of knowledge out there, and it just so happens that most officers happen to have a specific amount of knowledge when it comes to certain topics. So we like to be able to share that, and a lot of kids like to know about it. Sure. And then lastly, we're also a counselor. In times of grief and times of stress and things like that, we want the public and the students especially to know that we're human beings. We're going to be there to help them get through hard times and cope with problems they may be having in just their everyday lives that don't have to do with criminal matters.
Sure. Okay. And then a lot of times, because you mentioned if there's something criminal going on, like say a kid commits a crime in there, and say it's a very minor infraction, or it's the kid's first offense. You guys do a lot to work. I'm trying to remember that you guys had like a contract or something. It's a little less to keep them from getting completely into that.
Right. So as in any facet of law enforcement, we do have discretion. You know, an officer has discretion on whether or not they issue a warning citation or a full citation on a traffic stop. Well, as a school resource officer, one of the things that I picked up in Farmington and that I'm bringing over to Bloomfield with me is what we call an in-house contract. Say it's a minor law violation, a simple mistake that a kid made that falls into a criminal matter. Well, we do have the option to be able to offer them this in-house contract, which is just exactly how it sounds. It's an agreement between me and that juvenile and their parent on what it is that they need to do so that they don't have to enter into the juvenile court realm and have to deal with juvenile probation, etc. So we're really giving them a second chance, which most people deserve.
Sure. And then so are you kind of like that, I don't want to say a case manager, but kind of that. So if you're doing that contract, they're checking in with you,
It can mean a lot of different things, up to and including something that their parents may want to add as a stipulation of the contract. So if, the parents want to make sure that their room stays clean or that they're in bed by 9 o'clock, that can actually be put onto the contract. Okay. So it allows for a lot of latitude with that. One of the common things that Farmington uses is you can have them write an essay, an apology letter, different things like that. Pick up trash, in school detention, anything that... Just
any kind of accountability.
Right, and that will help them understand what it is that they did wrong and take responsibility for it.
Okay, great. And then, we're going to get to all the community stuff too, but it's the perfect opportunity because you wear several hats there. And then... some of the laws behind when you're dealing with juveniles who have committed a crime, they're a little bit different than adults, how that goes through the system. Can you explain that a little bit?
Most certainly. So juveniles, it's not like you can just run up and arrest a juvenile. First and foremost, anybody under the age of 11 is not an arrestable individual. There may be other things that we look at doing where mental health issues, things like that for someone under that age. Once they get to the age of 11, they fall into the criminal realm, and as you explained, the laws are different from adults. We have to run things through juvenile probation, which is a state entity, and typically a judge is the final call on whether or not a juvenile gets detained for an extended period of time or physically arrested. There's a lot of different possibilities, though, in that juvenile realm, and I like to think that we actually have more latitude than you do in the adult realm, where some laws say shall arrest. Sure. And things like that.
Yeah, and it gives them an opportunity. And like you mentioned, if they're under the age 11, with the types of behaviors, there could be so much going on. There could be something going on in the home that maybe needs to be addressed, or like you said, mental health issues or whatever. So at that point, it seems like more you're trying to figure out what that underlying cause.
And that's where kind of like that counseling part of the triad model for NASRO comes in. Is it takes a different type of officer. And quite honestly, not every officer wants to be a school resource officer, and I can completely understand why. My phone never stops ringing. So one of the nice things that I know I've experienced on patrol is when you're done with your day, and you can go home. Well, it doesn't work that way, just like it doesn't for a detective or a supervisor and things like that. So it's quite a bit different, and there's only a small contingent of the law enforcement community that actually wants to fill that role, because it does take a different type of mindset. It
does. And I remember my husband, who's retired now, was a school resource officer, but he was the coordinator, and I remember his phone ringing off the hook all the time. Yep. Teachers asking stuff, but even outside school hours, if something was going on with a juvenile, they might be calling that or whatever the issue. So yeah, you're absolutely correct in that. So over at Bloomfield PD is school resource officer, is that under you guys' detective division as well? Kind of structured the same?
Yes, my call sign is a detective's call sign.
Okay.
And when I took the position, our interim chief, Randon Matthews, was a lieutenant, and per my job description, I answer directly to him. So now that he's the interim chief, I'm still answering directly to the chief of police at this point.
Okay, all right. And then I had one more question about the juvenile crimes. So when you, because I know this comes up a lot, and I understand it, you actually don't have to have a parent there to question a child, and I think that's a misconception sometimes, because again, the rules are different with the kids.
Yes, that is a very common misconception, where parents seem to think that we can't talk to their kids without them present. Well, current law, all the way up to the Supreme Court, says otherwise. We can interview juveniles, and there is a separate set of juvenile Miranda rights. Okay. We have to advise them of their juvenile Miranda, up to, basically the difference is we advise them that they are allowed to have a parent, guardian, or custodian present during any questioning. We have to take it one step further and just really make sure that we hit home and make sure that they understand each individual of the 4 Miranda rights as we explain them to them.
Sure. So they can have a parent there if they choose to.
Correct.
Okay. So, and it seems like maybe that was set up, so what we were talking about, some of the underlying issues, sometimes kids will act out, maybe there's something going on at home, maybe there's some abuse or something, and that seems like it would be important part of, if you're trying to get the bottom of that, you probably wouldn't want that parent there. What if that parent is the offender? So, that child is less likely to maybe report.
That's a definite possibility. And with a situation I was dealing with just yesterday, talking to 3 juveniles, we weren't able to get a hold of parents right away. So in the case of exigent circumstances, we need to still be able to talk to that juvenile and ask them questions. If we would have had to have waited for parents to arrive on scene and be present while we question them, it's possible there may have been a medical issue.
Sure, absolutely.
So it allows us more latitude there as well.
All right, well, thanks for that. Is there anything else that you think the community should know about the school resource officer role, juvenile laws, anything that's important that...
Well, there is a huge movement going on right now throughout San Juan County involving school resource officers, school district, mental health professionals, and everything else. There's a San Juan Safe Schools initiative, and I'm lucky enough to be a part of that, and the experiences that I'm having right now after the incident in Aztec last year in December, it became apparent that there needed to be some changes made, and San Juan County is now being the trailblazer for not just the state, but the entire region is looking up to San Juan County and asking what it is that we're doing with the programs that we're initiating and things like that. We can say with certainty now that every school district within San Juan County, all the staff members are seeing the same training from individual school resource officers and trainers within our area. So there are no differences between what Kirtland and Farmington and Bloomfield and Aztec are seeing when their staff gets trained on all these new safety measures.
Sure.
It's really kind of unheard of, and having gone to the Homeland Security Conference in Albuquerque and everything else, and a couple other trainings, everybody really is looking directly at us saying, what is it that you're doing, and wanting us to give them the template on how to make our children safe.
Right. And to clarify, part of that training is if there is an emergency, some sort of situation, a threat that comes into the school, so everybody's on the same page, teachers, janitors, and no matter what law enforcement agency is coming in, everybody's on the same page with that training, and we know that the school personnel received that.
Correct. It's actually dual-faceted. So within the group, we have subcommittees of law enforcement, mental health, school district, etc. And within those, the two focuses that we have is a prevention piece and a reaction piece. So we look at threat assessment teams, things like that, how to stop anything before it happens, and then God forbid, should we have an incident in San Juan County, again, as you just explained, that all the staff at any given school is going to react the same way. Not just that, but that every other school is going to know how they're reacting when they come to aid that school district or that school.
Great. That's incredible. So, okay, I think we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about all the stuff you guys are doing out in the community.
Sounds great.
All right. The Farmington Police Department has partnered with the City of Farmington to launch the Slow Down Farmington campaign. We're asking citizens to join the campaign and serve as advocates for their community by reminding others to slow down and take their time, not a life. Participation is easy. Stop by the police department or City Hall and pick up a Slow Down Farmington sign to display in your yard. Snap a photo of you, your family, or your pet next to the sign and share it on social media using hashtag #SlowDownFarmington. The Farmington Police Department, your department, our community.
I'm John Lienhard with the Engines of Our Ingenuity. Every day we talk about human invention and creativity in science, technology, and the arts. We talk about all the drama and intrigue, insight and personal conviction that constantly bubble just below the surface of a world built by human hands. We honor complexity at the same time we keep things understandable. Do join me. We'll have a lot of fun together.
Weekdays at 5:45 on KSJE.
Hello again. There's nothing like a live concert to bring out the best in musicians, largely because they know there's an audience a few feet away taking in every note and expressing their approval. We'll hear from Goodman, Ellington, Kenton, and several others as they perform on stage. Tune in, go swinging down the lane, hear David Miller.
Saturdays at 7 on KSJE Farmington.
Make each day a learning experience with the Academic Minute and join us as we discover cutting-edge research from colleges and universities around the world. Tune in to broaden your understanding of the past and be the first to learn how today's innovations will transform our tomorrow. From the latest breakthrough in green technology to the discovery of humanity's oldest tools, you'll find it all on the Academic Minute.
Listen every weekday afternoon during the KSJE Evening News at 5:30.
Hi, I'm Brett Barry, the host of Soundbeat. Every episode features a recording from Belfer Audio Archive, one of the largest sound archives in the country. We add in a related storyline, whether it be about the performers, the songs, or something else entirely. From vaudeville to vinyl, you'll hear it all on Soundbeat. Soundbeat is produced at the Belfer Audio Archive, Syracuse University Libraries.
The Cop Shop with FPD. I am here with my guest, Derek Booker, with the Bloomfield Police Department. We were talking about his role as a school resource officer, but he was also recently appointed as public information officer, same as me. And you guys have a lot of community events coming up right now. So, want to share some of those?
Sure. As I said earlier, it's going to be a busy October. There is so much going on right now, and our interim chief, Brandon Matthews, has really taken a firm grasp of trying to get us more active in the community. As I said, we've got a great team of officers that are very, very happy to be a part of the Bloomfield area and to be involved. So one of the things we've enacted is we've got Coffee with a Cop. That's every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m.
Nice.
The chief and or someone else is there to discuss anything with the citizens. We've jump-started a neighborhood watch program. And at our last meeting, well, the last couple meetings, we've had more than 50 participants. So we're really getting that going.
So are you moving your neighborhood watches around? Is there a central place where everybody comes, or?
Typically where we've been having it is at the Bloomfield Cultural Center.
Okay.
And if you check our Facebook page or our Instagram, Twitter, we do make our announcements there on where and when the next meeting is going to be if you're interested in attending.
Okay. So you guys are on 3 platforms now. You guys are stepping up. I'm following your
We
Facebook
are.
page, so Instagram and Twitter, that's great.
Yes,
Okay.
we've got to probably catch up a little bit more on our Instagram and Twitter, but right now our Facebook followers, we're trying to get to 10,000. So if you get the opportunity, get onto Facebook and please like our page.
I'll go over and like your page. Look, I get all excited as a PIO. I'm like, oh, you're on all these social media channels.
We're giving it our best shot. It's still kind of new, and it's new to me, but
Yeah.
I'm wading my way through it, and
Sure.
and I have Suzanne is great at making sure that we get the information out.
Good. Okay. So what else you got?
We've recently started, it was 1 month ago yesterday actually, we went live with an app called Stop It. It's an anonymous reporting app that allows people to use an app on their phone, the internet, etc. to be able to make tips. And in that 1 month's time, we've received more than 100 tips.
Wow.
So we've got 200 registered users right now. And we've actually recovered 3 stolen vehicles, made 2 felony arrests. We've got tips on trespassing and everything else. Another thing that it does that I remember FPD having is that it allows us to send out push notifications and things like that.
Great.
Like today with the homecoming parade that's taking place in Bloomfield, we can tell people, hey, these roads are going to be closed, etc. using that app.
Now, so do the tips come directly to you, or is it hooked up through a service like Crime Stoppers?
No, they come directly to the department.
Okay.
We have a few administrators within the department that they get an immediate notification every time a tip comes in, and they can route that to dispatch if need be, or to a direct officer.
Well, that keeps you guys hopping.
It most certainly does. Again, we couldn't do it without Suzanne. She's really amazing, being able to sort through the information and get it where it needs to be.
Okay, great. And then you guys have a couple more events coming up as well?
We do. So we've got a party in the park coming up on October 13th from 3 to 5 p.m.
Okay.
We've got the great big inflatables for the kids and things like that. So we've got a basketball game with the inflatables, the bouncy slide. All those different things are going to be down at Bishop Square in Bloomfield. It's going to be the same time as the Pozole Cook-Off. So you can come down and get some pozole. If pozole's not really your thing, Bloomfield PD is going to be offering hot dogs and soft drinks and things like that.
So is this kind of like you guys' National Night Out? Is it
similar?
similar
I think we're going to work our way up to the National Night Out.
Great.
This is kind of a shortened version. Also in October on the 30th, we have our Halloween Carnival. That's through our Police Athletic League. It's something that we've hosted every year. That's going to be at Bloomfield High School in the auxiliary gym, or in the North Gym as they call it. That's going to be between 5 and 8 p.m. It's a nice, safe place where you can bring your kids. They get to have fun. Same type of atmosphere where it's really built around being family-centered so that we get plenty of opportunities to have fun in a safe manner.
Cool. All right. Is that everything you got? So you were talking about Coffee with the Cop is every Wednesday. So where are you guys holding that one?
That one is at the police department.
Okay.
If you're interested in attending Coffee with the Cop, just come into the lobby of the PD at or before 8 a.m.
Okay.
And we leave the door open to the stairs, take on up to the second floor in our classroom, and feel free to sit down, have a couple pastries and a couple cups of coffee.
Great. And it goes until, so you said 8 to...
Usually about 8 to 9. It depends if
okay.
how many attendees we get. You know, we'll keep talking until everybody feels like they're ready to move on.
Great. All right. And I have to ask, so far, are you liking the PIO gig? Is it?
You know me. We've worked together. We've worked together, and I can say I've learned from you. So,
well,
you know, it's fun for me, and I really enjoy being active in the community and getting the information out there.
Great. Well, I appreciate you coming in. Again, we're here with Derek Booker with the Bloomfield Police Department. He's a school resource officer and PIO. And thank you for sharing all the information. I actually have to plug ours now. Scott's over there doing the 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes. So yeah, certainly appreciate you coming in, Derek. So this Saturday we have got, well, tomorrow, 9 to 1. It's not our event, but the ARC of San Juan County is hosting their first buddy walk. It's over at Kiwanis. And so we'll be down there. Oh, yeah. Scott's got it up on the screen. He's got me. All right. So we'll be down there. They're having music and all sorts of fun stuff down there. We're going to have our Bearcat out there, which is our armored SWAT vehicle, and our bomb truck. So come on out. The Buddy Walk is there to support individuals who have Down syndrome, bring awareness, inclusion. Our next event is next Tuesday. It's our National Night Out. It's on the screen again. Thank you, Scott. So that's going to be at Berg Park this year. We moved it because it's growing, bigger venue, 4 to 7, and ours is a little bit unique in the fact that we always attach a fundraiser to it. So this year we have a Whack-A-Chief for charity. So the police chief and the fire chief will be there in the game, like the whack-a-mole game, you know. Good fun. So come on out. McDonald's will be there providing complimentary burgers. We've got more rides. We've got trackless train rides. We'll have our specialty vehicles out there. The fire department's going to be there selling their Get Pinked apparel as well. And so we invite everybody to come on out, have fun. It's a free event. All the rides and activities for the kids are free, except, of course, for the Whack-A-Chief and then the Get Pinked apparel. So do you have anything else for the audience before we sign off?
Just thank you very much for having me on. Thanks to KSJE for having me as well. I appreciate it.
All right. Until next time. See you later.
You're tuned to the Beacon, KSJE 90.9 FM, your information and cultural beacon for the Four Corners, serving Aztec, Bloomfield, and Farmington. Reach us today online at ksje.com.